first moved here, one of the first things that happened was I had my car stolen right out of my apartment driveway and had to pay about $250 to get it back. So tell me about how predatory towing works, just beyond that, and what are some of the challenges people are facing?
Well, that's an all too common occurrence. Someone's living in an apartment complex or in a condo, and they invite some friends over, for a dinner party, and and they wind up getting towed. Maybe legitimately, maybe not. It's hard to know, but it really doesn't matter whether the motorist is in the right or whether or not they're in the wrong. If the towing company says that they're in the wrong and that they have to pay $250, then they will pay $250, or else they won't get their car back. It's just that simple. The motorist could call the police. The police most likely will not do anything. They'll say that it's a civil matter. And so the motorist could take the issue to court, but who has time and money to fight over $250? Almost no one. And the predatory towing companies know that and count on that. And then of course some people don't have a spare $250 lying around. And so what happens is eventually many of those people just lose their cars to the towing company. And if you look at the Better Business ratings of these companies, many of them have F ratings. Right. And yet somehow these property management companies still have no trouble signing contracts with companies that have F ratings from the Better Business Bureau. It's sort of bizarre.
Now, we are right now sitting in the middle of one of the two worst traffic areas in the entire country. So we're in the DC area. We know LA is almost as bad. And I keep hearing a lot about some of the programs that are coming from the federal government. They're always passing some new program. And the Transportation Secretary has money for another favorite thing of ours, red light and speed cameras, right?
Speed cameras.
Speed cameras, okay. So tell me about that program, what they're doing, and how that's going to make the roads worse for regular people like us.
So over $15 billion in the recent infrastructure bill is set aside for public safety, traffic safety. And up to 10% of that money can be spent on red light cameras. Now, of course, it's up to states and localities how exactly that money will be spent, but the federal government is making it available to be spent on red light cameras. On speed cameras. Yeah.
So what you're saying is basically pick one of the most worst speed trap jurisdictions that you know in your area. They can now apply to the federal government to get money to work to install the speed cameras. Now, how do the speed cameras work? I know, obviously, it snaps your picture after certain, but there are companies behind it. How are these things sold to municipalities? How do those tend to work?
Well, broadly speaking, the automated traffic enforcement industry, there's a number of companies. Interestingly, some of them are foreign that come over here and profit off of our motorists. And at least in a couple instances, we've found that these automated traffic enforcement companies are operating in a shady fashion. Redflex, a big traffic camera company, was caught bribing officials in multiple states. More recently, SafeSpeed has been caught bribing officials in Illinois. In fact, they had bought the state senator that was chairing the Transportation Committee.
Ah, that's convenient.
It's very convenient. So when bills would be introduced in the legislature to get rid of the cameras, he could always be relied upon to kill them. And that was his role.
And so now let me stop you for a second. So what you're saying is you will have, when I think of traffic enforcement, I always think of officer friendly is there. He's doing it because the roads need to be safe. But in this case, the government is abdicating that responsibility to whether it's a private company or foreign company, and that company sends them money, right? That's how it works.
Well, so the companies, one of the problems that I have with it is that the companies are often getting 25 to 35% of the traffic ticket revenue. And to me, that's just inappropriate. The cameras are typically rented, not bought. It's a very strange industry, sort of like predatory towing. The red light and speed camera industries are very odd. It's not like when the police departments go and buy Ford Explorers and then they use them to ticket motorists. Well, Ford would never say, here, Washington, D.C., we're going to give you these 10 Explorers, and the only thing that we ask for is 20% of the ticket revenue that you earn off of these Explorers. These camera companies operate in a shady fashion. And so the cameras are free, but they cost over time. And then going on further than that, they sign contracts, which are then difficult to get out of. Okay. And so when the locals are unhappy with the cameras being installed, it doesn't matter. When they go to the city council to complain, the city council only has to say, well, sorry guys, if we void this contract, it'll cost us millions. That's the game that they play.
And now, usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, are the tickets, are they witnessed by policemen? Is that how it works? Because the private company can't just send me a ticket, right?
Laws vary by state. Okay. In Virginia, they're supposed to be, checked by an officer. But then again, we just had an incident in Alexandria where, for over 3 years, the red light cameras were issuing tickets to people illegally. In Virginia, there's a half-second grace period after the light turns red before you can be issued a red light camera ticket. And in Alexandria, at one location, no one got a grace period. Thousands of tickets were issued, over $100,000 in fines were collected. For more than 3 years, no one noticed. How does that happen?
Right.
This is unacceptable.